Good evening, everyone. Here's the operations update for April 18th. If you didn't watch my PM update, the Russians have begun the next phase of this large-scale offensive operation in Ukraine. They began it earlier today, and their intent seems to be to capture in their entirety the Donetsk and Luhansk Oblast. Now, Oblast for you Americans are like states in Ukraine. So the Luhansk Oblast is roughly like this, and I'm sorry if you're Ukrainian, I'm kind of jacking this up, and then the Donetsk Oblast is like this. So what they're trying to do, the Russians want to capture the entirety of this territory, at least in this phase of the offensive in the eastern campaign. They did this today by initially starting their battlefield movements against Donetsk, and red is not a good color for this, and Luhansk. And then they also tried to start the biggest fighting and shelling came in on the Rubizny axis. So not necessarily in that direction, is more like this. But anyway, so the Russians are using more traditional Russian tactics. They're trying to clear the area with heavy artillery and missile fire, and then they can move in their mechanized infantry as well as their heavy assets like their tanks and stuff. So what I'm thinking they're trying to do, and what other experts are assessing, is they're trying to initially make an axis from Donetsk to Rubizny to kind of clear out all of this white and make this all Russian held. Then, if they have the combat power and they're successful, which they likely could be successful. I know that they're working on broken units still and conscripts, and there's going to be heavy fighting, but there's an overwhelming amount of force. Apparently, there's 76 battalion tactical groups in the region, which is 11 more than they had previously. So there is definitely the troops, and if the Russians can learn from their mistakes in other areas, they have a chance of executing this. Now, I think their ultimate goal is still the Mariupol to Izium envelopment. This is a double envelopment. I think that's their ultimate goal. Mariupol is strategically significant because it's a major port that could be used for Russia, as well as just a moral victory, given that they're still fighting there. It's just insurgent fighting, but still fighting nonetheless. Their original plans to go from Kharkiv to Kherson, or running from Kharkiv to Mariupol, both of those, I'm saying, are not going to happen. They just don't have the combat power, and they may not even have the time. If they're trying to complete these by May 9th, which in Western intelligence has said is a goal for them, or even I've heard that they may try to complete this phase of the operation by Orthodox Easter, which is Sunday, they just don't have the capability. And in Kharkiv, the Ukrainians have actually pushed the Russians back out of there, meaning Kharkiv is just going to be more of a headache for Russia. So I think this is where they're going.